What's up, guys? JP back at you once again, bring you guys day number 3 in my 11th annual 31 Days of Horror. This is a series in which we watch and review 31 horror films in 31 days, all during the month of October, leading right up to Halloween, and continuing along with the titles as we were just kind of picking whatever I felt like watching. I decided to go with one that was in my collection for a handful of years that I've actually never watched, and that is Death Ship from the year 1980. This film was released by Scorpion Releasing, and I picked it up a long time ago used somewhere, and it actually the Blu-ray case is broken. Just the bottom tab doesn't close all the way, but I could replace that. I just never have. So Death Ship, I gotta say, this is one of the coolest cover arts ever. Just a really neat cover art. In fact, I think that a lot of people would recognize this sort of design from the 2002 horror film Ghost Ship, which is not very good. Death Ship, I would also say, is not great. I do think it's better than Ghost Ship, but I didn't really love this movie. So the film follows a group of passengers on some sort of cruise ship, and they essentially collide with a mysterious, giant ship, and they sink. We then follow a group of survivors, including the captain, who, and a couple of kids who are in a lifeboat. I presumed everybody else died, which is kind of crazy, kind of a mean-spirited way to open the movie. But they're floating along, and they essentially run into the same ship that sunk them, that they ran into, that seemed to appear out of nowhere. They eventually get on board after a bunch of issues happen during that, and they essentially are on an abandoned ship, and they're sort of wondering what is going on, why there's nobody there, and then all kind of right away the audience knows that the ship is up to no good. Like, it's knocking people overboard and trying to drown people, and flowing raw sewage on people and stuff like that. The captain ends up getting possessed, and then we find out the dark history of this ship later on, and what essentially the ship needs blood to live, which is crazy. But honestly, the plot synopsis and the idea behind the movie is much more interesting than the execution, in my opinion. I feel like the editing in this one is a bit sloppy, and there's sort of it sort of has this almost good quality to it, where you could tell, okay, if this was fleshed out a little bit more and executed a little bit more properly, it could have been a great horror film. I feel like they don't really use the atmosphere that the ship naturally has, because it's all rusted looking and stuff, and it kind of just feels a little bit of a cheap horror movie that they didn't really think out the scares and the kills and stuff like that. And overall I just felt like it was kind of disappointing. I don't think it's horrible or anything, but I definitely would have liked it a bit more had it been written a little bit better. There's one scene where this woman is in a shower, and it starts the blood starts flowing out of it, and I swear that scene goes on forever. It literally just feels like it keeps going and going and going and going. There is a really cool scene with a guy in with a bunch of bodies from the past victims of the ship, which is really cool. I did like that, and I like how they tie it into something sinister in history, which is pretty cool. But with that said, I think I'll just give it a 6 out of 10. If you've never seen it, check it out, but I don't think it's really a must-see movie, especially from 1980, which is such a strong year. So with that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another one. Peace out.